Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another collection tour. It's been ages. I know, I apologize for that, but I wanted to get the displays just right. They're still not 100% perfect, but I'm so proud of the way everything's looking right now. We've had a ton of releases in 2024, and trying to fit everything into these module cases has not been easy. Some folks are going to say the displays are crowded, not to their liking. Totally understand. Don't forget, this is Justin's collection. It's my collection. I love the way it looks, but if you don't, if you would do things differently, absolutely do that in your own collection. Now, how this is going to work, we're going back to basics. No sliders, nothing fancy, just old school Justin's collection tour, walking around the room, talking about the displays, why I've put things where they are, what's come out of the collection, what's potentially coming in the future, the way I used to do it. I liked experimenting with the tours most recently, the last one, the one before that, but back to basics I think is the right fit for this. We're about to get stuck in, I promise. 2024 was a big year for the channel. I launched my own product. That's what this is. This is the figure first aid kit. If you've not seen this, there's a mini sewing kit, a misting spray bottle for styling rooted hair, a washable reusable lint roller, then a bunch of stuff up top, rubber tipped tweezers so you're not damaging head sculpts as you're adjusting collars on outfits or cuffs on sleeves. You've got some green tack to make sure stuff is nice and secure on your custom pieces, and it comes in this quite sturdy screen printed hard case. These are still available at the time of filming this collection tour, but they're almost sold out. If you want one, now's the time. I will be adding more stuff to the shop, justinscollection.shop, very soon. Acrylic risers and crotch grabbers are coming. Let's start off with some classic movie figures. There's more movie pieces below this, but I've redone this shelf recently, so I thought I'd show it off first. We've got Back to the Future on the left with part 2, 3, then 1 in the middle, Doc Brown, wearing a custom 1/6 kit head sculpt. Then we've got Marty, part 2, part 1, the new and improved version, and part 3 on the right. Some of their bases are custom. Then we've got Rambo, all 3 of them by Threezero, part 1, part 2, and part 3 up front. As for Indy, the Hot Toys DX05, Sideshow Indiana Jones from Temple of Doom, then the Present Toys one with a black tie on him. I've done that so he sort of represents the Last Crusade. This is the Sideshow Eric Draven wearing the Hot Toys Eric Draven head sculpt, Godfather by Damn Toys, Beetlejuice with a custom head sculpt. I actually repainted the custom head sculpt myself, and the Spirit Halloween Tombstone. In the background, Blitzway Ghostbusters. I had to redo this shelf. Like I said, I did it recently because it was looking very crowded. Now, you can pretty much see everyone. As soon as you stand back, all of the figures are visible. The Rocky shelf is brand new for this collection tour. I've only just done it recently. The nameplate up front was made by Matt Weaver, Wicked Designs on Insta. Huge thank you to Dean Knight for recommending Matt in his videos because I have since picked up quite a few of Matt's nameplates. In the background, Clubber Lang by Star Ace, Rocky 2 by Star Ace with a Gin Toy head sculpt, Ivan Drago, also Star Ace, Apollo Creed Star Ace, Rocky 2 in his civilian clothes, Star Ace with a custom Gin Toy head sculpt, Clubber Lang, that's a gang hood body with the spare Star Ace bits, Hot Toys Rocky 3 with a Bison body, then the most recent acquisition, Sly Stallone Shop Rocky 1. That is a custom base that Rocky 2 is standing on. I used some artwork that I found online, I sent it to my base maker and he put that together. I need to get some taller risers, I reckon, for Clubber and Ivan Drago. That way it looks a little bit more tiered. Right now, the middle row and the back row, they're pretty much all at the same height. This, I believe, is my most crowded shelf. That's why I want to get it out the way off the bat. It's a work in progress. Most of this stuff needs its own dedicated spot in the collection. I'll figure it out eventually. For now, this is a catch-all shelf with everything from James Bond to John Wick to Top Gun Maverick and Last Samurai. Very random. By the way, if you want to see full reviews on these figures, pretty much any figure in the collection really, search the name of that piece on the channel and yeah, you should be able to find the video you're looking for. On the left, we've got 11 and Kai James Bond. In the back, Present Toys Mask and Live Aid Freddy by S. King S on a Fison body. Shumi Arts Gustav H from Grand Budapest Hotel. For those of you who don't know, that's actually my favourite movie of all time. Not a comic book film, but Grand Budapest Hotel by Wes Anderson. Up front, Star Race Audrey Hepburn from Breakfast at Tiffany's. 3 different versions of Alita. The one on the right is by Hot Toys. John Wick from Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. Then we've got Kane from Chapter 4 and John Wick from Chapter 4. These figures need a better spot because they look a little bit sad or huddled together like that. In the back, Pirates of the Caribbean Jack Sparrow on his really cool shark base that you can't see. Then we've got Caustic Plastic Inspector Clouseau, some Matrix figures, and a Tom Cruise shrine with Last Samurai, Top Gun Maverick, Top Gun sort of Maverick with an older Tom Cruise head sculpt, and Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible by SW Toys. This little section was going really well until I got Ip Man, because it was my streaming display with characters from Netflix and Amazon Prime and HBO shows going in here. Ip Man is not on any streaming platforms, as far as I remember, so he doesn't fit with the theme of all of my streaming figures. He needs to be relocated. Up front, we've got Entebbe Ip Man from the 4th movie. Then we've got my custom Duke Avocado Witcher head sculpt on the Buzz Toys body. This is a custom body on Omni-Man by So-So Toys, then just Invincible is stock. We've also got the boys in the background. That is a custom Homelander. I fully repainted the suit and there's a new body on him. Butcher by So-So. I forget who made Black Noir and Soldier Boy. Probably Threezero. Everyone is Threezero at this point. We've got the Squid Game Guard by a third-party company. Threezero's Demogorgon. And Threezero's Joel from The Last of Us. That's Pedro. We're still waiting on Ellie for now. Fingers crossed she comes out soon because I really want to get Ellie and finish off that set. Previously, I wasn't a huge fan of my Robocop and Terminator display. I wasn't doing these figures justice. It was down low, quite crowded, not well organized. But now, I've improved the layout, there's better spacing, and we've got these little signs up front by Matt Weaver Wicked Designs on Insta. In the background, Hot Toys Alex Murphy, custom Ann Lewis head sculpt was painted by Duke Avocado, there's a video on that. Battle Damage Robocop, Robocop from the 1st movie, another Robocop 1 on the chair with battle damage bits on him, a custom repainted Robocop 2, I did the repaint, super proud of that, Ed209 with his Mod Podge repaired dome, and Robocop from the 3rd movie, but he sort of works as Robocop 1 also. I've given him the gun from the 3rd film, that way I've got 1, 2, and 3 all represented. For Terminator, it's busier, there's more figures on this side. You can still sort of see everyone in person, you can move around and see all of the figures. T1 in the background, then a lot more T2 up front, and a custom base with the Terminator Genesis endoskeleton. One day, I'm hoping we get a die-cast Endo because that one, he's very fragile and not accurate to T1 and 2. Laugh at me if you want, I absolutely deserve it. Up until recently, I hadn't seen Alien or Aliens. I've now since rectified that. I've watched both the theatrical and director's cuts of those movies, seen the other films in the franchise, and I've been to the cinema to watch Romulus. So after all of that, this needed to happen. I carved out an Alien-specific section of the collection. I then picked up Big Chap, Alien Warrior. I did a custom Ripley, she's in the Hot Toys Power Loader. Then we've got Ripley from Alien up front, by Hot Toys, and Present Toys Ripley on another Hot Toys Ripley base. The eggs, Facehugger and Chestburster, they're all third party. There's more Alien stuff on the way, Scorched Xenomorph, and we've got more Predators coming. So there's plenty of room on this Pred shelf for those future editions. Scar Predator, Wolf Predator, Classic, aka My Jungle Hunter, City Hunter. That's all I have for now. I'm tempted to get at least Elder. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments. Danny Glover from Predator 2, right next to City Hunter, and Dutch on a Fison body, head sculpt and outfit by Hot Toys, that's a Fison M34, right next to Jungle Hunter. I like to pair up the humans with their respective predators. So, yeah, I've been collecting these quietly, keeping it to myself. Remember when I said I didn't like Game of Thrones, and I reviewed a couple of Threezero figures begrudgingly? I like it now. I've watched the entire thing. I don't love the last season, but I love everything else. Up front, that's the Threezero outfit for Daenerys, but a custom head sculpt by Duke Avocado. Same thing with this Daenerys. Custom head sculpt is the same head sculpt, but the eyes are painted differently and different hairstyles, both on Fison bodies. Everything else, Threezero. Officially licensed. Oh, actually, that head sculpt is a custom sculpt that I got from 1/6 Kit for Jon Snow. Huge upgrade over the stock sculpt. I picked my favorites from Threezero's lineup based on the quality of the head sculpts and the outfits, but I'm praying InArt makes good on their promise and gives us Game of Thrones figures, because some of them I would double dip. If they gave us a really solid Jon Snow or Daenerys, they would be added to this display, no question. You all know me, I love my Transformers figures, even though this shelf is looking busy and a bit disjointed because we've got Bayverse stuff with non-Bayverse stuff. Still, I love the way this looks. 2024 has been a great year for Transformers collectors. DLX scale Transformers collectors, I should say. We got Optimus Prime, Optimus Primal, and Bumblebee from Rise of the Beasts. Plus some third-party figures in this scale, like that Dark of the Moon Bumblebee. This is not the Threezero Last Night Optimus. We'll talk about that potentially in an upcoming video. Then on the left here, I've got plenty of third-party figures for the Bumblebee movie. Starscream, Shatter, Shockwave, and Cybertronian Mode Bumblebee. Heaps of new arrivals up here. I never initially intended for this to be a video game and anime shelf. I was just going for video game. But I ran out of space, as we all tend to do, and Threezero's Chainsaw Man line was too good not to display, so those figures ended up with the video game releases. We've got everything from Hot Toys Johnny Silverhand to CT Toys GTA 5, Last of Us Part 2, Detroit Become Human, Agent 47 from Hitman. That is a custom CT Toys Nathan Drake with a Sideshow outfit, custom Lara Croft, VTS Jin Sakai, InArt Wukong, some Damn Toys Assassin's Creed figures, World Box and One Toys Kratos from God of War Ragnarok, Threezero's Chainsaw Man line, and Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat, Sub-Zero and Scorpion right up there in the background. This shelf right here, one of my favorites in the entire collection. It is so bright, it is so colourful, it's nostalgia bait. We've got MMPR, the TV show, on the right, figures by Threezero, all of them, plus some Boom Studios comic stuff sprinkled in with Lord Draken and Ranger Slayer, Putty Patrollers up front, Soul of Chogokin, Dragonzord and Megazord. Different scales, I know, but they're high quality, so I just roll with it. But off to the left, the Toys Battalion movie 1995 Power Rangers. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would have figures of these suits in 1/6 scale. But there they are, and I am so freaking happy they decided to make them. Like I said, this has to be one of my favorite shelves. It's looking a bit dingy, this shelf. There's no lighting. Transformers has got lights, Power Rangers does, but not X-Men. There's provisions for lighting, this little connector. I literally just have to place the order with Moduspace, and I will eventually. For the back row, So Toys Old Man Logan, Sideshow Magneto, Super Duck outfit set for Weapon X on an M34 Fison body, So Toys Gambit, Sideshow Cyclops, So Toys Rogue, Hono Studios Tiger Stripe and Brown Suit Wolverine, Sideshow Astonishing X-Men Wolverine, then off to the left there, the secondary outfit option and Angry Head Sculpt plus red shirt. It's like a DLC, you have to order that separately, from So-So Toys on a ZC Toys Muscular 2.0 body. This shelf, mix of third-party So-So Toys and Sideshow, with a dash of Hono Studio sprinkled in. Will we get more Jim Lee-inspired X-Men figures in the future? Yeah, probably. To get all of the room I needed for the Alien section and the Rocky and X-Men displays, I needed to condense Marvel. Marvel was taking up way too much space, too many shelves, and this is the end result. The Iron Man shelf is jam-packed. I know it is. You can see it as plain as day. Some figures are being blocked by others. In person, it sounds like a cop-out. It's a lot easier to see everything when you're standing in the room versus on camera. I've tried to do it in chronological order, so we've got Iron Man 1 on the left, Mark III Diecast 2.0, Mark II Diecast 2.0, Mark 1 Diecast, Iron Man 2 in the middle, 4, 5, and 6, then off to the right, Mark 7, and then he leads on to Iron Man 3. That 42 will be replaced with the 2.0 eventually, and I'm hoping that we get die-cast versions of Heartbreaker, Silver Centurion, and the Mark 9 at some point, because the plastic ones, they look great. They're slightly underscaled, and their articulation is nowhere near as good as some of the newer die-cast pieces. Oh, and Ironmonger die-cast? Please, Hot Toys, make that happen. Another victim of the Great Compression, the Captain America Shrine is no longer just a Captain America Shrine. It's also a little bit Black Widow, and a little bit Thor, because the Thor area of the collection was always in the corner right next to Cap. Now it bleeds over into Cap's shelf. There is a distinct break between Red Guardian and Valkyrie there, so visually speaking, in person, there's a nice separation. It doesn't look too overloaded. On the left, the first Avenger figures, then Captain America the Winter Soldier, plus the Endgame Strike Suit 2.0, but there's a new one coming anyway. Black Widow, Snowsuit Black Widow, and Red Guardian. He's by a third-party company, probably Threezero once again. All of those figures from Thor Love and Thunder are official, except for Korg in the back, and he is massive. No riser needed. He is literally just that tall. It works, for now. If we get more Thor figures, this isn't going to work long term. In the background, Gladiator Hulk, Toys era Heimdall, Dark World Loki, Thor from Avengers 1, then we've got Hela, the Ragnarok figures up front, still one of my all-time favorite Thor figures, Road-Worn Thor. I'm hoping that they make Thor with the fur cape from Love and Thunder. I will make space probably here next to Valkyrie behind Mighty Thor, so that he can go next to the other Love and Thunder figures. Oh, and by the way, I've posed Gore so that you can't really see any of his exposed joints. So this is pretty much how I did it. Avengers 1 had its own shelf before, same with Age of Ultron and Civil War, so this is 3 shelves worth of figures condensed into one huge Moduspace. Was it worth it? It looks a bit busy, but I've gotten used to it. When I first did it, I wasn't sure. I stared at this and I was like, oh no, what have I done? Do I need to put it back to the way it was? Now, it comes across like a Marvel collage. The best parts of Marvel, well, Age of Ultron might not be the best, but you know what I mean. It looks like a movie poster with some of my favorite Marvel figures just all mashed together on the same shelf. It's a feast for the eyes in the best way possible. It took a while to grow on me, but now I've come around. Up front, we've got Civil War, plus Age of Ultron on the right. And you see the symmetry with both Hulks and then Ultron in the middle there as a break. Plus we've got Iron Man and Iron Man, Mark 7 Battle Damage and 45. I try to make my displays as symmetrical as possible. Some of the most recent additions, Diecast Mark 6 2.0 without gantry, couldn't fit it. The Mark 7 Suit Up Tony, And I've just moved these two into the right corner, the Mark 46 2.0. That's a custom Iron Man 2 Stark Expo Tony using the new moving eye head sculpt that came with the Mark 6 2.0. These two shelves, Infinity War and Endgame, they're my Mona Lisa. Like, look at that. Yes, it's jam-packed, a lot of characters. But we've got tiers, multiple layers, and centerpieces. The step down from battle damage Thanos to normal Thanos, then leads your eye down to Cap, and right up front, Mark 85 battle damage. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start off not with either of those two shelves, but Guardians tucked in the corner. That Thanos is terrible. If you are thinking about getting a Hot Toys Thanos, don't let it be that one. He can't pose for shit and he's very small. The only reason I have him is because I want to own every version of Thanos that Hot Toys has made, and that just happens to be one of them, unfortunately. Third party Ronan the Accuser, third party Adam Warlock from Guardians 3, I should probably relocate him now that I think about it. Then the rest are from Guardians 1, except for Infinity War Thor and cameo Stan Lee. This shelf remains largely unchanged. I've moved some figures, changed some poses, added a neck cover to T'Challa there, some new accessories on his base from the 2.0 version of his suit from Civil War. Also added the battle damage faceplate to Mark 50, changed the pose on Groot so he's no longer holding his Game Boy, but most importantly, the Mark 80 bridges the gap between the 50 from Infinity War and the 85 for Endgame. It feels like a natural fit for the 80 right in between the two films. But one day, if we get a King Thanos from Avengers Campus, whatever ride he's going to feature in, then I'll grab Web Spidey, the Mark 80, and I'll create a mini Avengers Campus display. Look at the Endgame line. So many figures. When we got Infinity War, they were riding high. Everything was selling out. They thought for sure, no matter how many figures they made from this movie, they would sell every single one of them. But, as it turns out, they didn't. Some figures are still readily available sitting on store shelves at heavily discounted prices. If you can build out an Endgame display on the cheap, do it. Because I reckon this, Marvel-wise, is probably one of the most impressive displays in my collection. You might think it looks terrible, and that's totally fine. In the back, we've got Iron Patriot, a huge hulking monster, right next to Professor Hulk, who's not that at all. That Rhodey sculpt is from Iron Patriot on the War Machine Mark 6. Ant-Man and the Wasp, not technically from Endgame, but they work here. Strike Suit 1.0 Cap with the head sculpt from this Avengers 1 Cap. I got a second one of him and used that head sculpt for a custom. 2 Ronin/Hawkeye figures. The first version of Iron Spider, soon to be replaced with the Artisan one when he releases. Both versions of Thanos. Mark 85 clean and battle damaged. Team Suit Tony and Custom Tony using the Tony Stank head sculpt. It's not great, but it doesn't look bad with the sweater. Bro Thor, then third party Ancient One and Valkyrie, little Guardians action, and there's Falcon. If you're wondering where he was, he's not with the Civil War figures. I've popped him right in the back there with the rest of the Endgame releases because he needs to be flying with his wings out, and to have the height to do that, this shelf was really the only option. My Black Panther collection may be small, but if we ever get M'Baku or Nakia or Okoye, I will expand it. I've got no problem doing that. Civil War Black Panther 1.0, I've popped the new one with the Civil War figures. 2 versions of Killmonger, that one in the back is by Daft Toys. A V-Dot Collectibles head sculpt on the DJ custom outfit for T'Challa on the Wakandan throne by Hot Toys. T'Chaka, he was a Toy Fair exclusive. And Shuri in the middle, rocking some side-eye. You all know me, cannot get enough of side-eye. See if you can spot how many figures have side-eye in the collection throughout the course of this video. This was my Disney Plus shelf before. Now, it still is that, but it's also Netflix Defenders with a lot of third-party figures, and Multiverse of Madness, and Shang-Chi, and Guardians 3, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, plus Ant-Man from the first movie, Blade, third-party by Present Toys Ghost Rider, and Hot Toys Ghost Rider from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I also chucked Captain Marvel in the back because I literally didn't know where else to put her. Let me know if you think I should reorganize this or move stuff around. I've worked on this recently and I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. I grabbed Kang and I popped him in the middle because, number one, I don't think we're going to see any more Kang, and he was almost the big bad from Loki, then bleeding on into Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. He deserves that spot in the middle. The third-party Khonshu I never ended up reviewing because he's too darn big. That's literally how tall he is. No riser needed. And look at the size of that frickin' staff. It's also massive. This is all new for the 2024 collection tour. This top shelf used to be DC, then it was Marvel. Now it's still Marvel in a way. It's Fox X-Men on the left with some third-party figures and some official ones. So Toys and Threezero mostly. But on the right, it's all Deadpool. Threezero Colossus, So Toys Negasonic Teenage Warhead, my custom Patch and Cavalrine, Deadpool from the third movie, and there's enough space right next to him for Wolverine. But is there enough space for Kidpool, and Gambit, and Elektra, and X-23, and Blade? Not really, no. So I think this shelf is going to have to expand into probably a much bigger shelf somewhere else in the collection. Spidey's got a big shelf, but he needs it. Look how many figures we have from Tom Holland's films, both third-party and official. I've tried to space everyone out as much as possible. I think you can see everyone. On the back shelf, we've got Threezero Vulture with an incredible wingspan. He's with the rest of the Homecoming crew. Far From Home on the right, custom skin tone neck cover on upgraded suit Spidey, and a dynamic pose for homemade suit. Below that, Kingpin and Kate Bishop, because we saw the same Christmas tree in Hawkeye as No Way Home, yeah? That's the connection I made, and Matt Murdock was Peter Parker's lawyer, so it makes sense to have him next to Kingpin. Plus, Kingpin is next to the rest of the Netflix figures. That all works for me. Avengers Campus Web Spidey, third-party Sandman, third-party Lizard, Hot Toys Electro, custom head sculpt on Andrew there, custom V. Collectibles sculpt for Doc Ock with real metal glasses, custom sculpt on Toby, a lot of custom stuff here, another one for integrated suit Spidey, and the Young Rich Toys Doctor Strange outfit on a custom body with the No Way Home Doctor Strange head sculpt. Because actual No Way Home Doctor Strange, you guessed it, has a custom head sculpt on him. Not many shelves in the collection I would call done, but I want to say that this one is. I don't foresee me making any changes until we get a fourth Spider-Man movie. But I want to do something about this, because hiding away some of my favorite pieces in the corner, while you can see them, even from a distance, it's not good enough. I need to bring them out. I'll find somewhere else for them to go. We've got Venom and Carnage, both from the second movie. I sold my first movie Venom. New Goblin from Spider-Man 3. Black Suit Spidey, that's the original by Hot Toys from the third movie. Third-party Venom. Electro, that I got really freaking cheap. I think I said $70 back when I first got him. That's crazy. That Amazing Spider-Man 1 figure will be staying in the collection, but when I get the new one, that piece is going to be displayed a lot more prominently. And I've already said it, but one more time, this stuff is coming out of the corner shelf. This shelf is mostly PS4, PS5 video game. That's all of them for now. And we've got Spider-Verse, as well as some classic comic book Marvel goodness. I'll be replacing Iron Man with the Hono Studio one. And if they ever give us a proper War Machine without the clear plastic, that one is going to be gone. Spider-Man 2099 is the most recent edition. I need to make room for Prowler Miles and the new Miles, and Spider-Punk, I will absolutely do that. You see all of this vertical real estate behind Classic Suit Spidey? You all know what that's for, yeah? 21 inches of Venom. He probably still won't fit there. That's how tall that piece is. He's on the way now at the time of filming this video. When I get around to filming the next collection tour, you will know whether or not he fits in that back spot. It's a dark shelf. But these are DC figures, so it works. Completely unplanned, I promise. Titans figures, Nightwing, Red Hood, Jason Todd Robin, and Dick Grayson Robin, all by So-So Toys. Arrow by So-So. So-So made Kingdom Come Soups, Brandon Routh, and Batwoman, and Zoom. But then Flash up front is by Hot Toys. Toys era Superman and Bizarro. Two third-party Gotham figures with Jerome and Oswald, aka Penguin. This shelf is small, but it's been reduced recently to only my favorites. Then again, So-So Toys with their upcoming Flash releases, I am counting down the days until I can get that John Wesley ship Flash. I need to have that thing. This shelf isn't long for this world. I'm going to dissolve it. I'll move the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns figures somewhere else. The animated figures are staying. But Kingdom Come Soups and Shazam, Regeneration Suit Soups, the Hush figures, that classic looking Two-Face, probably not going to stay, I don't think. Just because I need more room for other things, and this isn't doing it for me. I read some comics, but I'm by no means a comic book fan over movie and TV show versions of characters. That's why I'll keep my favorites, this lot on the left, this bunch in the middle. Everything else, quite likely, this is going to be the last time you'll be seeing them in my collection. This is my Arkham shelf, with Origins on the left. That is a custom 1/6 scale Arkham Origins Batman statue. It's not great. The belt is the wrong color and the head sculpt's all weird. It looks like Arkham Knight Batman for some reason. Custom outfit on my black mask because the one he came with was not accurate. No black pinstripes, they're meant to be there. All of the rest of this stuff, you've seen reviews, it's been out for years already. But this guy right here is my white whale. He is my absolute ultimate grail. That is a Hot Toys prototype Batman. I told the story of him in the Rovenick Studio custom Azrael Batman video. If you want to hear more about him, check out that review. I redid this shelf recently, and then I redid it again. And again after that. I keep having to redo it because we're getting more and more Snyderverse figures, even though this universe is dead. Third-party companies, especially third parties, they support the shit out of the Snyderverse hero costume designs, and I'm so here for it. Even in the corner on the left, and in the corner on the right next to the Nolanverse figures, even more DCEU goodness. Yes, another corner spot, not my favorite, I need to figure it out. Armored Batman, battle-damaged Armored Batman with a Zhao 3D modeler head sculpt. Bruce Wayne, BVS Wonder Woman, my custom BVS Batman with a Zhao head sculpt. Man of Steel General Zod, Jor-El Feora by Zensation, the Man of Steel himself, and 3 Birds of Prey Harley figures. Did I need all 3? In hindsight, not really. But I'm still glad I got them. It's meant to be viewed in chunks. On the right, we've got the League and Peacemaker because the League was seen at the end of Peacemaker. Not the entire thing, but enough for this to make sense to me. Golden Armor Wonder Woman, then Wonder Woman 84 Wonder Woman, Training Armor and WB100 in the back. Darkseid for good measure. Nightmare, that crew. 2 Black Adams. Aquaman with a custom artisan quality rooted hair head sculpt. My custom Shazam. In-art soups looking absolutely breathtaking. And the champion version of Black Adam right up the front. If you know a way for me to be able to add more figures to this display, because I have more to unbox, Deathstroke, Mira, and Alfred, just weigh in down in the comments What should I move or rearrange to be able to make that happen? It ain't Nolanverse. Somehow it still ended up next to the Nolanverse figures. Polka Dot Man and Bloodsport, they're by Toys Battalion. So Toys Katana. Hot Toys King Shark from the Suicide Squad. That is a Gang Hood Rick Flag. He's quite hard to come by nowadays. Hot Toys made that Batman, the Harleys and Jokers, as well as Deadshot. This needs some work. I need to move this elsewhere. You know how I ranted about Endgame and Infinity War being my Mona Lisa, my pièce de résistance? It is, but for Marvel. This is that for me for DC. Everything is spaced out. Pretty much everyone that I want to be represented is. I'd like an official Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul is how they pronounce it in the movie, sorry. For now, this makes me so freaking happy. Batman begins on the left with multiple third-party figures. Joker and Batman, the central theme, in the middle. In-art, then another in-art one in the back with DX33 Artisan Joker up front, Police Joker and a Bank Robber Joker with the in-art head sculpt on it. Two-Face, he kickstarted this whole 2.0 revival for the Nolanverse line. Hot Toys Bane, Hot Toys 2.0 Catwoman, some third-party Banes with Commissioner Gordon up front. Standing here like this, you can see everyone, no problem. So that was DCEU and Nolanverse. This is everything else. From Keaton to 2022 Batman, Joker 2019, Batman 66, and also Christopher Reeve. That's a custom Clark Kent video already live on the channel. Custom Soups with a custom Classic Team outfit and Duke Avocado head sculpt. Hot Toys 66 Batman and Robin with Mars Toys Joker. Riddler apparently is going to be released soon at the time of filming this. Hot Toys Batman and Robin from Batman Forever. Mars Toys Riddler. Toys Trubo Two-Face. Terrible. The Mars Toys one hopefully will drop soon. And So Toys Mr. Freeze. Not from Batman Forever, but I reckon he still works. I've kept DX09 along with the 2.0 89 Batman for now. When I run out of space, I'll make changes. While I can accommodate both, I'm going to do that. Where is Joker from InArt going to go, the 4-pack? No idea, we'll just have to wait and see. So many 2022 Batman figures. This used to be just Batman and Bruce Wayne with Riddler. Now it's Penguin, Drifter Bruce Wayne, and the 3 I had originally. We're waiting for Catwoman. InArt, get it done. We need Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman. Time for some Star Wars, I think. Let's end on Star Wars. We'll do it in reverse chronological order because not everyone loves Force Awakens and Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. The figures as well as the movies. On the left, Force Awakens. Still cannot get enough of that Stormtrooper disguise Finn for some reason. Something about it just does it for me. Probably the sweat effect on that head sculpt. Captain Phasma in the background always catches my eye with the chrome armor. Then we've got the Last Jedi figures. My favorite from that line probably being Crate Luke. Kylo Ren and that Rey, if you are only picking up 2 figures to represent the entire sequel trilogy, it's got to be that Kylo and that Rey, surely. They've been releasing Disney-era Star Wars figures at a crazy pace. Mostly troopers, but that's because they're inexpensive to make. Every now and then we'll get some gems like Thrawn and Balin, but a lot of troopers. On the left, starting off with Solo first, then we've got Rogue One, leading into a bit of Ahsoka, and ending with the Shore Troopers, which nicely leads into the Mandalorian. This used to be just Season 1 villains, but now we've got the Praetorian Guard and Season 2 Armored Moff Gideon. I ended up going helmetless. I was toying with the idea of using the new head sculpt on the old body. That never ended up actually happening. Second favourite Star Wars shelf, right here. Not just because of the array of figures, Queel and Ugnaught, I never thought we'd get one. Jawas, Tusken Raiders, BD units, Grogu's, Lothcats, but also because of the layout. I'm really happy with the spacing here. I've not only got Chrome Mando in the mix, but Beskar 1.0, then Durasteel, with Luke Skywalker and R2-D2 smack bang in the middle. I need to send Paul his custom Carson Teva that we made, but it's not finished yet. When it's done, I'll pack it up and I'll send it his way because he's also a collector. We interviewed him on the channel actually, and that's when we pitched the idea of making that custom Carson Teva. Originally, because this shelf is right next to the game one, I'd intended for this to just be Star Wars video game figures. But I ran out of space for characters like Trip and BT-1 and Ken of Boba Fett and the Shadow Trooper. So it's evolved. This is now my catch-all Star Wars Legends shelf, let's call it. Up front, the newest acquisitions, Lord Starkiller and Darth Revan, still adore those pieces. Then we've got Scout Trooper Commander, Purge Trooper Commander, Scorch, he's not from Republic Commando technically, but he is for me. Then behind him, Shadow Trooper, Jump Trooper, and Shock Trooper from Star Wars Battlefront 2. Prequel time. They are in chronological order, these shelves. Almost. Not entirely, you'll see what I mean. Episode 1 consists of Sideshow Darth Maul in the back with Sideshow Battle Droids. Hot Toys Darth Maul up front, but the Sideshow Maul is wearing the spare Hot Toys Maul head sculpt. Episode 1 Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon is Hot Toys, Obi-Wan is Sideshow with a brand new body. That is a third-party Queen Amidala, and Playtoy, the company that made her, is making more Queen Amidala Padme figures in the future. Episode 2 Battle Droid by Hot Toys. All the rest of this stuff is Hot Toys, except for my custom Obi-Wan. Third-party Sealer head sculpt, and a Sideshow outfit on the Episode 3 Hot Toys Obi-Wan body. Look at the smolder on that Anakin sculpt. That pose I copied from one of the costume test pics, and I think it suits the figure perfectly. If you're just getting started collecting and therefore posing, my advice to you is to look at those costume test pics and freeze frame shots from movies and TV shows until you figure out what kind of poses work for different characters. Because not all poses will work for every single character. Then you've got figures like Ahsoka here with the rubbery arms that I would not recommend posing at all. So you'll learn that stuff as you get more stuck into it. The only Sideshow figures that we've got left in this little mini Clone Wars display, Captain Rex and Cody in the Phase 1 helmets. Rex is being replaced with the Hot Toys one. As of yet, Hot Toys have not announced a Phase 1 Cody, but I reckon eventually we are going to get him. This is a bloody big shelf. Bad Batch, then 332nd and 501st, Phase 2 Captain Rex, Episode 3 Anakin, can't wait for the Artisan one, Episode 3 Obi-Wan, wearing the Mandalorian disguise Obi-Wan head sculpt, custom Sideshow outfit Hot Toys Emperor, also going to be replaced with the official Hot Toys one, then Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, Kenobi Darth Vader, and Kenobi Purge Trooper, with Darkside Anakin back there. I've got an idea for a custom artisan Darkside Anakin. Not sure if it's going to work yet. I have to wait for that guy to be released, then I'll try a few things out and see if what I have in mind is even possible. Oh, and the ARC Troopers, you'll already know, the Hot Toys ones are coming. I said that the Mando shelf was my second favourite Star Wars display. This is my favourite. What a way to end the collection tour, with the original trilogy starting off with A New Hope and Holiday Special. Because the special aired in 78, the movie came out in 77, close enough so that I think Boba Fett's presence here makes sense. The Tusken Raider is from Mandalorian, but he also works here. Jawa's by Sideshow. Luke Skywalker Red 5 Sideshow with the Hot Toys Return of the Jedi Luke head sculpt and different hairpiece. Stormtrooper Disguise exclusive Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. Return of the Jedi Hot Toys C-3PO. He's die-cast. He's quite dirty. So popping him with the New Hope figures, Yes, he can work with the Return of the Jedi ones because, Jabba's palace and whatnot. But until we get a proper A New Hope C-3PO, that's where he's going to live. I only just redid this shelf before filming this tour, actually. I moved Luke, the Snowspeeder one, to the middle, propped him up, and symmetry-wise, now everything is properly symmetrical. And I added the prototype version of Boba Fett to the left side of this display, bridging the gap between A New Hope and Empire. He didn't look like that in the movie, but we saw costume tests and whatnot in all white armor. Sideshow made that figure, and I'm freaking glad they did because he looks so good in 1/6 scale. Body's terrible, he can't stand for shit. If you get him, go in knowing that you're either going to need to swap the body or he will be standing on a display base. Right up front, little Yoda, R2-D2, and DX07 Luke Skywalker. The rest of Empire with the bounty hunters in the back. By Sideshow, except for Boba Fett, and then pre-pro Boba on the right, that's the deluxe one using the bonus spare armor bits. Tamashi C-3PO, full diecast, really freaking heavy. Custom Bespin Han, Bespin Leia, Lando, this is the new version of Luke, DX07 and Darth Vader, all by Hot Toys. This is it, the last half shelf. Return of the Jedi. It's a small section of the collection. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. For now, it's small. It's growing, we're getting Han, and who knows what else. We'll have to wait and see. This is a custom Slave Leia, Sideshow Lando. The rest is all by Hot Toys, including the new Darth Vader. He literally just replaced the Sideshow one. When he came out, the Sideshow Vader was retired in favor of the new Hot Toys piece. Oh, and Luke is wearing a Mandalorian Luke Skywalker head sculpt, but the hairpiece that came on the figure originally. And that's a wrap on Collection Tour 2024, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for sticking with me, for subscribing, liking, commenting. I reply to every single one of my comments. So if you have any questions, let me know down below. I promise you it will not go ignored and unanswered. I will get to it. Also, the actual cabinets themselves were made by Moduspace, for those wondering. Check out their website. They take a while to get to you. They're pricey, but they're well worth it. Very sturdy, quite lightweight, easy to move, great lighting, and acrylic front panels that are held on with magnets. But that's about it for this collection tour. More to come. Plenty more content on the way, especially in 2025, so stay tuned. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video. I thought I'd just tack this on after the credits. I tried to integrate it into the main collection tour. I just felt it didn't fit. So first of all, thank you so much for sticking around right through the entire video to after the credits. It's been a long one, I know. Fingers crossed it's also been worth it. Now, if you are not interested in talking about the gear I use to make my reviews, you can close the video now. The collection tour is done, you will not be missing anything. But if you're even remotely curious as to what goes on behind the scenes, stick around just a little bit longer. So first off, folks want to know how I store my accessories. I've got a tower of tubs like these. I get them from Bunnings Warehouse, and the reason I've stuck with them for so many years, I think 4 or 5 since I first started using them, is because they're modular. You can take out dividers, make bigger compartments like this, and even though they're not massive, you can store a ton of accessories inside of them. There's this rail system, this ridge up on top, so they lock into one another, and as you stack them, they're still relatively sturdy. In the States, you can probably get something like this from Amazon, I would imagine. Currently, I'm stuck using 2 iPhones for filming. And yes, I do film all my videos on iPhone. Some people wonder why I do that. It's pretty simple. I can shoot 4K 60. I can shoot directly to a USB-C drive if I want to. I can plug in a USB-C microphone. I've got a high-res viewfinder and 3 lenses. But anyway, I can't use the 16 Pro Max for everything yet because the app that I film with, Filmic Pro, hasn't been updated for the 16 Pro Max. So even though it's got a better sensor and a better lens, and I'm getting more detail out of it, autofocus doesn't work. So I can only use it for locked focus close-up shots. If I need autofocus, I need to go back to the 15 Pro Max, which is what I'm filming this segment on. The tripod is by Manfrotto. There's a ball head mount up top and a quick release mount with the Manfrotto iPhone or smartphone clamp holder thing. This breaks all the time, so if you're planning on using this exact mount with tripod, maybe get a couple of spares. They're not the most expensive things in the world, but you definitely don't want them to break during a shoot, which has happened to me multiple times. When it comes to lights, the 2 main ones on either side, they're Aperture LS1s, I believe. They are extremely bright, like seriously bright. I never point these directly at figures because if you do, you will blow out detail very quickly. Bounce them off something, like the back one is a different aperture light panel, not sure the exact model, but it doesn't have color temperature control. I bounce that off the ceiling, and then the light is diffused, and once it gets to the figure, it's not as harsh, but it's still a really nice high quality light source. If I do need more direct lighting, I use these small rig lights. They've got like strobing effects and colors and whatnot. They're connected to these Joby tripods, and there's magnets in the feet, so I can pop these either on my main tripod or on the light stands just to maybe hit the underside of a figure's head sculpt if there's a hat or a helmet on their head that's making it look a little bit too shadowy. I cannot tell you how much I love this. This is an integral part of my workflow now. I got it a few years ago. Actually, my wife bought this for me for Christmas or my birthday, and I seriously love this. Plus, I had some really good customer service from Rhino, is the company that makes this. It's end of life, they don't make it anymore, but mine died recently. So I reached out, just hoping they could do something, and they said, yeah, we can sell you some old stock, $50, no problem, there you go. So I got a brand new one, and it's fully functional again. Like I said, I use this thing all the time. Some people think that when I do a shot that's panning or zooming, that I'm just taking a picture and I'm zooming in with a Ken Burns effect. No. The lens is actually moving, that way there's no degradation in quality as you're zooming in towards a figure or panning up and down. The rest of these bits and pieces, cheap and nasty turntable off eBay, you can get a much better one than this, and please do. I've got a USB-C rechargeable one, but something about how smooth the motion is on this, I just keep coming back to it. I will upgrade eventually. This is a UV torch for when figures have UV luminous paint effects. These 2 rocks came with the Hot Toys Chitauri Commander. Just get them parted out. Don't get the Commander, it's a pretty terrible figure actually. This goes on top of the turntable for larger figures. Then this is my figure first aid kit. You'll already know about this. The last thing I want to discuss is my overall review setup. I used to go with a light box, but I found it was too restrictive. I needed something more versatile. So that is a massive white sheet in the background. It's slightly shiny, so it's a little bit reflective. Then I've got this plastic sheet, but I've got a much larger one that I can replace this with, pop on the floor if I'm filming vehicles that require a huge white space to make the background still look seamless. I know I said that was the last thing, but this is the real last thing. This is my microphone. It's a Blue Yeti USB-C mic. It's on a shock mount. We've got 2 pop filters. I hate popping. Still, sometimes it happens. But this will eliminate most of the issues when I'm talking in my videos. I do it live. I'm not scripted. I literally sit here or stand here depending on what I'm filming. and I just talk about the figures in front of me. It's as simple as that, really. It's not actually all that simple. Sometimes it takes a long time to get it done, but hopefully, if you've wondered what kind of stuff I use to make my videos, this has been somewhat helpful. Thank you so much once again for sticking around and watching this entire thing through.